This is MotoGeo, and here's the review of the new Yamaha R7. Right, so all new from Yamaha, the R7. Now, the R7, the old R7 I'm talking about, was really a race bike. They made 50. It was just a homologation to get that bike into World Superbike and to be competitive. But they only made 50 of them, and it was a very special machine, not really a street bike. But here we have an all new R7. Now what Yamaha have done very cleverly is use the same engine as they've got in the MT-07, the Yamaha Tenere 700 and also the XSR 700. It's the same engine, and look at it, it's now in a supersport bike. How have they done it? Well, they've changed everything other than the engine. The engine is still the same, it's still bulletproof. They've just added a slipper clutch to this model. Other than that, same engine. It's genius from Yamaha that they've been able to use such a versatile engine and come up with 4 bikes that are so different. They ride different, they feel different, they have different personalities, they have different looks, and lo and behold, it's the same engine in it all. But what they have done, it's got the MT-07 chassis, but it's got a different head angle, a steeper rake, much closer to like the R6. They've also changed the rear subframe to give it more height, and got some awesome 41mm fully adjustable KYB front forks. And with that, it's just put more weight on the front and really sharpened up the steering angle. It steers fantastically here on track. Same at the rear, you've got a fully adjustable KYB rear shock as well, and having all of that adjustment is really necessary on a supersport bike because every riders are different, and here you can change compression, rebound, preload and get a bike working just for you. With the R7 also, you've got this supersport styling. It's now part of the R range, very racing looking motorcycle, and here we have the R7, and look at it. It's beautifully slim. It's actually the slimmest and smallest profile they've got in the R series. Now stance wise, when you're on the bike, it is really slim, and with it being slim and lightweight, it's flickable, it goes really around corners very well. It's got an awesome front brake. I would attribute to that not only the radial front brake calipers, but also this Brembo master cylinder here. Really good stopping power, and also feel coming back through the lever. It's got full ABS, and here on track we were really able to push that ABS to its maximum today. It only intervenes right at the last moment if it really has to, so it's not a very intrusive ABS, hence the reason why we're on track today. We've been riding it and I've hardly even noticed the ABS. The brakes are dynamite, they stop in a nanosecond, really well done. So with an engine that's so versatile, you would think that quite possibly it doesn't have enough oomph here on the track. But I have to say, it's also a bike that's really rideable. With that 270-degree crank, you've got a firing order, really like a big bang engine. It's very torquey. Also with the torque, it's got a lot of traction. I have to say, I was super impressed of how hard I could get on the gas today, and that rear shock and the rear tyre just grabbed into the tarmac, and never did I have any problems exiting. It's a really good setup here. We've been using some track tyres here from Bridgestone, definitely a little stickier than a street tyre, but really impressed with how hard I've been able to get on the gas, and I'd attribute that not only to the good chassis and good suspension, but also that really tractable, torquey engine. Now, with the MT-07, also the XSR, you're going to be using much less RPM, whereas on track with this bike, I'm just thrashing it. I've been thrashing this bike all day, and it's a really easy bike to ride, and that's for me its appeal. The fact that it's so versatile. We've got riders here on many different levels, and everybody's had the same sort of feeling from the bike. It's flickable, it's easy to ride, it's really tractable. With that engine being so tractable, you can also run like different gears around corners, and you just can't do that with many motorcycles. You need a lot of power or a lot of torque, and we've definitely got that here. Some of the corners where it was high revving in second or third, I then tried like a gear higher and it'd still pull. Without any lag, it was always very responsive at the bottom. Now, for an extra $199, you can get the quick shifter. We've been riding with a quick shifter today. that I love, especially around a racetrack. You can just keep it pinned, flick it through the gears, keep those revs high, and you really do feel like a real racer. Dash wise, it's got a digital dash, got a lot of information on there, but it's got a really nice clear RPM and also a gear change, which I was using a lot on track today. And then also with the lighting, you've got the full LED lighting, and I really like the way that they put this headlight in the middle there in the air scoop, because the old R6 used to have just the air scoop there, and now we have a light, so nice touches. Chassis wise, it's just like the MT-07. However, it's got some aluminium plates here that strengthen the frame. So it's got rid of the old plastic rubber mounted ones, and you've got hard bolted aluminium strengtheners here for the chassis. Also, the subframe is slightly different, a little higher to get that ride height, and also the rake has been changed here with a headstock. But the chassis is pretty much the same other than this strengthener, and that's there for rigidity. Works really well here on track. I had no problem with the chassis flexing. I felt like the chassis was really good. Really surprised to see them using the same chassis, but it works really different. So good job Yamaha. They've really done well in using certain components of the MT-07, but it's definitely not just an MT-07 with some super sport bodywork. They've really done their homework in other areas to make sure that this bike does feel different, and it's definitely in the R range, it's definitely full on sport. So there you have it. The R7 isn't like the old R7 where it's a full on race bike. This is a lot more versatile. It's easy to ride, it's got a torquey engine, a nimble chassis, and it fills you full of confidence. But one of the best bits is its price. $8,999. I don't know how they've done it. Another bike from Yamaha for under 10 grand. Yes, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles when it comes to traction control or electronic suspension or anything like that. This is pretty much, other than the ABS, all motorcycle. And for 10 grand, this is a winner. It's definitely a great bike. Yamaha, top job. For me, and I have to say, steers fast. And like I said, really, like I said. Yeah, here we go. Full lap of Atlanta Motorsport car. 5th gear.